We are talking about a job interview. We are not talking about proof to send somebody to jail. When there is credible evidence, and we have seen credible evidence today.
What's the credible
evidence? That somebody has engaged in. Well, I'll tell you. First of all, the accuser's testimony is evidence, as anybody who's ever been to a trial and who's watched somebody say, do you identify the person in the court who did this to you? And the person points and says, that man. And the person says, that the man? We know that's
We're not talking
evidence.
about a television show, Ian. We're talking about justice.
That's right. We're not talking about justice. This person is not going to jail. We're talking about something more important than justice. We're talking about the future of our country, okay? Second, there's corroborative evidence. Starting in 2002, Dr. Ford told numerous people about this incident. She said the name of the person long before this summer. That corroborates that she didn't make it up this summer. That corroborates that she wasn't out to take down the nominee to the Supreme Court. Yes, it does.
It corroborates that the story is true because she told someone else the story?
Yes, it does. Does it prove enough to send him to jail? No, absolutely not. But it is further corroborative evidence that this is true. If you want to talk about preponderance of the evidence,
I want to back up for a
believe the person is making a credible accusation.
I want to back up for a second. We're talking too quickly, and I want to make sure that you understand my question. I know what you're talking about. It was NBC reported that they obtained 4 affidavits from 4 different people who said that from 2002 and onward, Christine Blasey Ford told them the story. She told them that she was sexually assaulted by somebody. A couple of those people, she mentioned a name. A couple of those people, she didn't mention the name. And I want to ask you, do affidavits such as these, where these individuals say, yes, Dr. Ford told me this story, does that give evidence to you that her story is true, or just that those people were told the story by Dr. Ford?
What we know is that when people talk about something, yes. The answer is yes. Because if you let me finish, I'll tell you. When people who are victims of something tell other people, one of the pieces of evidence, and prosecutors have talked about this, and I've watched them say it, is whether or not they tell anybody else, whether their story is consistent, and how long ago they've told the story, and whether they're saying the same story to different people. She said the name to some people, to others she said the person is now a federal judge in Washington, D.C., which limits it to about 9 people on the court that Kavanaugh sits with currently. So there is corroborative evidence. Again, not enough to send him to jail. I'm not suggesting that. But evidence that does corroborate her story.
No, it corroborates the fact that she told the story. Ian, I hate to keep cutting you off. We have a very limited amount of time here. We have a very limited amount of time. Let me ask you, if I told you 2 years ago that I beat Usain Bolt in a foot race, I won the gold medal over Usain Bolt, and you wrote an affidavit saying, yep, she told me that story, does that make my story true?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, because I know it didn't happen, and no, it doesn't. I know that because I also know that Usain Bolt's the fastest person in the world.
How do you know this happened?
I didn't say I know it to the certainty to send him to jail. You asked me, does it corroborate her story? Yes, it does.